Hello, welcome to a special Monday night edition of Ready Steady Bet. I'm Richard Trigg, and with me is Dave Dubai Shallow.
How you doing, Richard?
I'm good. We're missing one guy today, usual anchorman Dave Nicholson. He's caught in Mardi Gras traffic in his local village. Apparently, he's going to be an hour and a half late.
Oh dear, that's the worst excuse I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Are
So
you sure he's not on the floor from the weekend? Because I
we,
think we all are, aren't we? After the
yeah,
results of the weekend.
yeah, it's bloodbath, putting it mildly, to be honest.
Wow, could it have possibly gone any more wrong this weekend?
No, as much as it went right the first week for us, this week.
The variance in football's come back to bite us in the arse there, basically. I mean, it just shows you how crazy the variance is in this game.
I mean, if
I
go on, sorry.
Well, we'll go from the Liverpool game first off. Obviously, I thought Liverpool played really well first half. Obviously, they actually went off odds on in the end. They were 1.9 to lay at the off on Betfair. Big money came from at 5 a.m. in England, so it was obviously Asian money again. I thought they played really well first half. Then second half, they sat back, and to be honest, I thought Villa deserved to get a draw at the end of it. Liverpool had one shot on target for all their possession and play. They had one shot on target all game.
Yeah.
Just one.
Having said that, though, Villa didn't really look like they were going to make a fist of it and score an equaliser. In my opinion, I watched the whole game. They had a
Maybe
couple of
not.
chances. I think Benteke was very quiet.
Yeah, they had
Maybe
15. They had 15 shots compared to Liverpool's five, by the way, and 8 corners compared to two. I'm not saying football's based on them sort of statistics, but I'm just saying if you feed that into the computer, them statistics after the game, it definitely doesn't come out to do bet at 1.9, does it?
no, definitely not.
So yeah,
And those stats do flatter Villa a little bit.
yeah, I agree because Liverpool sat back, but I mean, apparently that was. Did you read that? Roger said that was a decision, a tactical decision to sit back in the second half.
I'm not buying that, to be fair.
Pretty fucking brain dead if it
Yeah,
was. Anyway, well, I'm sitting here with a bit of egg on my face anyway. But I'm going to tell the viewers if I make the side 5 to 4 and I'm happily laying them at evens, they are still going to win 45% of the time, in my opinion. So it's not like a big surprise when a 5 to 4 shot wins going off at evens anyway. I mean, it does happen. It's one of them things. And obviously, Tottenham outplayed Swansea all game. Funnily enough, did you see there's a lot of money for Swansea before the
yeah,
kick-off?
there was.
Did that?
They went off 9-2, didn't they?
Yeah,
Which
there
I
was
alluded
strong.
to was probably the right
Yeah,
price.
strong money for them, obviously. But to be honest, Tottenham dominated the whole game. But once again, didn't really have that cutting edge. Again, I think they lack obviously with no Bale, they lack a creative player
Yeah, I
to
think
give
so.
them. They basically haven't scored a goal from open play in the league this year, have they?
With the Villa game, though, to be fair, there'd have been no qualms if it had finished 1-1. Maybe the fatigue came into play a little bit, Dave. Just
Yeah, yeah, definitely, possibly. I mean, obviously, I was praying for it to finish 1-1.
just two tough games against Chelsea and against
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, Liverpool the ones that look fatigued, sitting back for no reason at all. Anyway, but what about your bets, Rich? What was the excuse
Oh,
there?
well,
Line me up now. Go on.
we looked like we were dead in within the first 20 minutes. Jeff Sterling gave us the old oh, there's been a goal at St Mary's. I'm rubbing my hands, and obviously Sunderland got the goal.
Oh yeah.
Um, Horrible defending in the box.
They
Um,
both went off pretty short, by the way.
yeah,
Saints were 168 when I looked on Betfair, and Everton were in the one high 50s. Which I mean, I did say on the thing last week. I thought they were approaching the price that they were their prices, and they were bet to the
yeah.
earlier prices you got on at. But I
I
don't
mean,
think. I mean, I did say I wouldn't have got involved with them prices.
looking at the post mortem, i.e. the stats, 17 shots, 6 on target against 8 and 3,
Yeah,
67% possession the entire game,
it's all right, mate. We'll
5
chalk it. We'll
score.
chalk it down to variance. Don't
Yeah,
worry, it's
so
okay.
that was the Southampton game. Everton, West Brom. I can't believe they didn't beat West Brom. That really surprised me that they got a draw. 22 shots, 8 on goal against West Brom, 7 and 2 on target. 62% possession against 38. Just couldn't put the ball in the net by all accounts. Leicester managed to get the job done, well, seemingly on paper quite comprehensively, but they were 1-0 down for a long time. But they were all over them like a rash as well and managed to find 3 goals.
In
So the
in
bet
better anti-post news was not bad though, Rich, was it?
not too bad at all. Palace obviously going 1 goal up and then losing 2-1 to Stoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put Stoke in eventually, didn't you? But it was kind of the game. That's kind of the only game that panned
I
out
just don't
about
rate
right.
Stoke, mate. That's all
No.
that is. I really don't rate Stoke. I so wanted to put them in at a bet at 10 to 11 because I do think they should have gone off shorter towards. I mean, I think in a couple of months' time, the equivalent game they would be going off shorter, but I just don't rate them. Obviously, they've managed to come back and win. It was a good result round for me, really, because I've had a bet on Shamak to score 7.5 Premiership goals or more. So obviously 8 goals or more. So Palace losing and Shamak scoring is obviously the nut
Yeah, the
result.
result. And also,
Palace is 6-4, rock bottom now as
Six
well,
to four,
Rich.
yeah, 6-4 after 2 games. It's crazy, and it 12-5 must have been so wrong because I mean they were 5-6 and 10-11 to lose the first 2 games,
Yeah.
and they've just contracted to 6-4. It's like,
Well, it does help that the three teams that are in the betting around them, the three promoted
oh,
sides, and
of
then
course,
Stoke were
of
the fourth.
course.
They've all won, haven't they?
And
That's the
Hull managed to win.
Hull
Like,
one, Cardiff one, and Stoke one, which does help. It's all gone good for us there,
how
obviously.
impressive were Cardiff, by the way? Did you watch the game?
Yeah, I see most of it. Yeah,
I was
I
just
was trying to watch
expecting
the
them.
test match at the same time.
I was just expecting them after the first 25 minutes. They closed down like I've never seen a team close a team down. They were like absolute pit bulls in the midfield, and
Said
I
it, didn't we?
expected them to tire out, and they just didn't. They just kept it up for 90 minutes, relentless all the
Hey,
way through.
that
They were brilliant.
Wales a horrible place to go. We alluded to that in the first podcast, didn't
Yeah,
we?
but none of us were getting involved in Cardiff, were we? Like,
No, I didn't touch the game at all. Should we? We'll swiftly move on because this is going to be a brief but action-packed podcast. We'll move on to the big games tonight. United Chelsea. What do you make of the overall game before we move on to the sub markets, Rich?
um, I think I think the only difference between the sides is Chelsea's midfield's superior to Man United's on paper, and also how I can see the game playing tonight. I can see Chelsea getting the best of the midfield battle. Uh, it's just one of those games, Dave, that you wouldn't be surprised if you can name any realistic scoreline. It wouldn't really surprise me. That 3-1 either side wouldn't surprise me. 3-all wouldn't surprise me. 0-0 wouldn't. 1-0 wouldn't. Like, it's just tough, and the bookies seldom make mistakes on the actual win markets in these games
Yeah, of
and the normal
course.
markets. So we've been trying to have a look at some novelty things that maybe there might be a bit of juice in.
Well, yeah,
Still,
because I said to you last time, didn't I? I said basically when a Monday night game's on TV, the bookies try to get you custom. They're all competing for each person's money, and everyone wants to bet on it. So they have various markets. I'm sure they get half of them wrong. I've
maybe the
got
best thing to do is, Bet365 sometimes do the
yeah, the offer's on tonight.
is
It's
the
a
offer
great
on
offer.
tonight. It's
Yeah,
just
it's a great offer for anyone
that's
listening.
the
Yeah,
only thing that I'd do if I still had a 365 account.
yeah.
I'd just have the betting running and then match it up for another 50 quid.
Well, yeah, because you can have 50 quid basically. If you have a £50 bet before the game, you then have a £50 bet in running. If the in running bet loses, they refund the £50. So obviously, there's various ways to do it to release the best value. I mean, I've seen various arguments for stuff, but
I just have a punt when I do it. I don't.
yeah, I know you do. Obviously, so say you fancy Chelsea, they're 9-4. I don't know what price they are. Bet 365, probably similar-ish. You'd obviously therefore have your 50, or they're 2-1 bet 365. So you have 50 at twos, and then the minute you go in running, you have another 50 at twos. So effectively, you've got £100 at twos, but it's only costing you £50. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you basically having £50 at fours.
I mean,
So yeah, it's a great
if
way.
it's a lost leader, it's a pretty good one for punters. I've seen a lot worse lost leaders for the firms to employ rather than something like
Yeah.
this.
Paddy Power doing
Because
money
this
back if Van Persie scores a goal in the match up to £100. By
a
the
lot of
way.
the offers are just for new customers. This is for existing
Yeah.
customers, which is good.
Well, the Paddy Power offer is pretty decent. Obviously,
Yeah,
Van Persie to score any time in the game. He's a 64 shot on Betfair, solid to score. So 40% of the time, about 38, 40% of the time, you're going to get your money back up to £100 on certain markets. So
yeah.
obviously,
These little rats will start arbing them and going around the fucking book.
but they're more than welcome to. If anyone's listening, obviously go on to Paddy Power, find the markets you're allowed to, bet up to £100 because 38 to 40% of the time you're going to get your money back anyway. Particularly if you're betting, the best thing to do there is I haven't actually looked at the markets. I'll have a quick look at that in 2 seconds. Should we go on to the sub markets quickly?
Yeah.
What have you got anything you fancy before I fire these away?
We've not discussed these hardly at all. The only bet that I think's value is the in the race to 7 corners market. Neither team to get 7 corners at evens.
Oh, okay, I like that. I'll tell you why I like that.
I think
Because
that's
I'm under 11 stroke 10.5. Basically, when you bet under 11, for anyone that doesn't know, you obviously got 10 and less, but some firms call it 10.5 just for the sake of clarity. So you go over under on 10.5. So it always means 10 or less, but under 11 means the same thing. So the market is under 11 or 10.5 corners are the same thing. So we need 10 or less, and that's 5 to 6 on Bet365 and Betfair. I quite like that, Rich. The last 4 times these sides have met, they've been under 10 corners. There's
yeah.
been nine, 5, 6, and 8 respectively. Plus, I think the way the teams are lined up tonight, they're going to be playing. It's a bit more of a central game than too much attacking width. I don't particularly like Valencia or Welbeck, who are scheduled to start out wide for Man U, and Hazard and Mata are down in the Racing Post starting on the width for Chelsea. And they're both pretty central players that we're looking to cut in quite a lot.
And I think the teams will show each other a lot of respect and let them play about with the ball a lot in the first half. I don't think it's going to be like a derby derby type game where they're going to be closing down at 100 miles an hour. I think it's going to be quite a laid back first 25 if you and both sides feeling each other out rather than all hell for leather closing down like a breakneck pace. I can see it being a pretty casual first 25. Um, yeah,
Funnily enough, that leads me into another one of my bets that I found. I like the first goal in the game after 26 minutes with Paddy Power at 10 to 11. What do you think of that one?
I don't know what are you
No?
basing it on.
Want to
Just
base it on that? I
how
think
you
it'll be.
think it's going to be.
I think it'll be a slow start to the game. I think they're probably going to overestimate how fast everyone's going to go off, tearing off or whatever. And obviously, the last two times Man United played Chelsea, it was 0-0 for a very 0-0 half time actually in both games. Um, I just think it might be a slower start to the game than people are anticipating, and possibly there might be a touch of value there because some firms are betting 28 minutes. So with the 26, you're getting 2 minutes. And I think if I was going to be betting on that market, that's where I want to be. I want to be a first goal after 26 minutes.
I remember just a quick one. I remember when they used to when I used to go have season ticket at Hillsborough first year with the lads about 15 years old, about 98, 99, and we're in Premier League days back with Di Canio and Carboni in the team and all those good players. I used to have a bet before at Ladbrokes in the actual ground. And I was used to bet the first goal between 36 and 45, just banking on there being an injury in the first half, because you get all the
Yeah.
injury time as well. And one day, one of the opposition guys fucking broke his legs, mate. It was 0-0. It was about 16 minutes, something ridiculous like that. He broke his leg. The ambulance had to come on the pitch. Yeah, and I still managed
It's
not to get
obviously
it
a
up.
bad thing
It
to
still
happen, but
went,
yeah.
yeah, it still went. I was thinking, oh my god, literally there must have been 13, 14 minutes added on, and it was 0-0 in an attacking game, and
Oh
I
wow.
still bricked it. It was
Yeah.
like I never did it since. It's
We're
like
talking about times, Rich. How about this one? I mean, obviously, I'm going to move on to the bookings market because obviously it's quite a well-known market. People are betting on the cards and stuff. The referee's Atkinson tonight. He's not super lenient. I mean, he's obviously on the stricter side. He averages 38.5 makeup last year. That's yellows and reds. It's 10 a yellow, 25 a red. He only gave one red in 24 games last year, funnily enough. But United and Chelsea really aren't dirty sides at all. If you look through the spine of their teams, they don't have the Essien, the Roy Keanes, them sort of players anymore.
no, they
The
don't.
spine of the United side, Michael Carrick only got 3 bookings last year in 34 starts. I mean, even the two centre halves, Rio and Vidic, don't get booked as often as you'd think. Same with Chelsea. John Terry and Cahill only had 2 bookings between them last year, funnily enough. I like under 5.5 cards in the game, 11 to 10 with Bet365. I like laying 45 points and over on Betfair at 1 to 2. It's around about 1 to 2 on there at the moment, and selling at 58 on Sporting Index. Basically, it's 10 points of yellow and 25 points of red. So I'm banking, all my bets there are banking on, we win all bets if there's 4 yellows or less, basically. And the 5.5 card one with Bet365 would win if there's 5 yellows. And obviously selling with Sporting Index, if there's 5 yellows, you'd win 8 points.
And I think the referees in this whoever it is in this game that's going to be watched by millions, and it's a big game on a Monday night, are going to be less gung ho to try and. They're going to take the cautious side if it's a marginal call between a sending off and a yellow, in my opinion.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Especially if he only showed 1 red in 24 games last year. I mean,
Yeah.
reds kill you in them markets, obviously, anyway, especially with Sporting Index 58. 25 points of red really hurt, especially if it's 2 yellows because you get 10, then the 25 lumped on top. So
Oh, you get that as well, do you?
No, 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 no. You don't do 3 cards. You do if someone gets 2 yellows, they get a yellow, and then you do another 25. That's what I'm saying. So you're doing 35 points on
Yeah.
one player. But obviously, if he's got a really small ratio of sending offs per game, then obviously it's a good thing. And this is the bet I really like. Actually, this is probably the best bet of the night, if you ask me. The time of the first booking, right?
Yeah, the line.
Yeah.
Let me just.
All right. You haven't looked, so you can guess the line. It's over under, obviously.
I'd guess 33 minutes.
It's 24. I'd be overs all day long there.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's so hard to get booked early on in football games. I normally give you a challenge or two anyway.
Yeah, they do. They do. They do.
Plus, players are fitter. They're not as tired, so you don't miss the challenges. That's why bookings always come in the second half for various reasons. The referees lets people get away with stuff in the first half, and the second half is instant yellow.
Yeah.
I think betting over
Yeah,
24
I
minutes
agree
there is
then,
the way
obviously.
forward.
My
5
line-
to 6.
If my line's 33.
Yeah, of course. There's 2 firms betting actually. You've got 5 to 6 over with Bet365 over 24 minutes on the time of the first booking, and Paddy Power 4 to 5, so slightly worse. But if you can't get on with Bet365, I still think 4 to 5's a bet there.
You ever been in the pub when you've had one of these bets? By the way, it's hilarious if you start rooting for like someone not to get booked on either team. Like people just look at you if it's a busy pub and just think, what are you on about? I remember rooting against corners, and I was going off my lid. There was like 3 minutes to go. I needed one less. No more corners, please. It was like a dull game. I had no
Oh,
interest in
there's
swaying it
nothing
anyway.
worse, is there, than a nonsense corner right at the end to cost you your
Yeah,
bet. And no one else, not even the player that's conceded it, knows how much you're
yeah,
hurt there.
no, yeah.
Oh, I had one for Arsenal when they were 4-1 up, I think they were 4-1 up, and Gibbs just kicked the ball against the guy kicked the ball against Kieran Gibbs' leg. He didn't even try and move it out of the way, and he was like, he gave the call and then blew up. I was sitting there fuming. And obviously, no one else knows how the pain just cuts through you because it's just the most unnecessary corner ever to give away. But
What about lineups tonight, Dave? Who's going to go for up front, Chelsea?
they'll start Torres. You disagreeing? I think Torres will start. I can't see him throwing Lukaku
Yeah, I
down.
guess. I do
The
agree.
the RP lineup, which I sort of probably think is right. There's been a bit of speculation about Mata today, isn't there? About him moving and stuff. They talk about Rooney and Mata swapping over and various stuff. But in the RP, they've got Mata starting. Mata, Hazard, Oscar, Lampard, and Ramirez in the centre. But what about do you like this? Ramirez first booking, 12-1 VC. He got nine bookings last year, more than anyone else is going to be on the pitch.
Well, you can take a few players out straight away, like the keepers and stuff.
Well, if I'm saying I don't fancy many yellows in the game as well, of course, I think 12-1's a bit big there, Ramirez. But
Yeah, I think
Ramirez
that's
first one.
fair.
He got nine yellows and 28 starts last year, which is way more than anyone else that's going to be playing tonight. I mean, there's a lot of very clean players, if you ask me. I mean, you can go through the midfield and they're all pretty clean, like Hazard, Lampard, Oscar. You're not exactly typical yellow card players. And we said earlier that Michael Carrick gets very few yellows for a player that plays centre midfield, basically. Funnily enough, what I'd look a couple of other people. Carrick's 30-1, 30-1 in that market. I know he doesn't get many yellows, but centre midfielder in a
Yeah,
big game.
he's in the epicenter of where all the action's going to
Oh,
be
I
today.
mean, he only had three last year, but 30-1. I don't think I'd
If
put
he's going
anyone
to
up.
get one, it's going to be
This is
against
the
a good
game. Yeah,
midfield. Yeah,
yeah. A good
night game.
midfielder are
Yeah,
moving fast, of course. Like this is the game. I think 30-1 could be worth a nibble. What about Robin van Persie? He had six yellows last year, more than I think it was joint most in the Man United side that's going to be starting tonight.
yeah.
Only Rooney had
He's been
more.
backed in tonight to get a yellow. Actually,
As he was
uh,
25's first yellow in the game.
I
Obviously, it's
think
hard for him to be first yellow.
I think he's down to 9-4 anytime.
Was it really? Oh, that
Yeah,
9-4 is obviously a lay. I mean, because only any time one I did set me like the look of was Ramirez 5-2 any time, but because I'm unders on yellows and I'm probably not
yeah.
going to put that up
you
because I'm
can't
unders on yellows.
you
But
can't stop. You
I'm,
don't know what you're rooting for at the end.
yeah, yeah, I'm going to put him up first booking at 12-1 with VC. If anyone wants I think it's 11s with Paddy Power, which I think is still about fine. I definitely don't think it should be a 12-1 poke, given the way the game's going to pan out, especially if we think it's going to be a very central game with the balls, with a lot of playing in midfield. What the very last special bet I'm going to go through was probably the strangest bet I've had all day. I had to get someone else to get me on because it's with a very a bookmaker that's very hard to get on, and we haven't got a lot on. But number of throw-ins with Stan James. I've actually done a bit of research in this after. The average number of throw-ins per game, funnily enough, Rich, is 45. Apparently 45 is the average number of throw-ins per Premier League
I'd
football
go
game.
way. I've never thought about it. I'd go way under that.
Yeah.
I'd go
Well, the Stan James are
that.
43 and a half, but I read a stat earlier that United had averaged 69 minutes of play in the 2012 season where the ball's in play, and Stoke was only 58. Basically, it didn't give me the stats of throw-ins per game. You can generally
Yeah, you
read
can
into
tell there.
stuff like that because stoppages are that's basically bet like you're talking about stoppages when the ball's out of play for corners and stuff. There's no reason to suspect Stoke are ever going to have a higher corner expectation than Man United. So they're going to have more free kicks, but they're also going to have more throw-ons. So basically, United are keep the ball in play a lot more than most sides in the Premiership. And I think this sort of game is a game where it's been played through the middle. We're talking about there being not as much width as there would be in some games. I mean, I think I'd want to be under 43 and a half throw-ons in the game. It's probably the craziest bet you're going to have, and it'll give you the
Yeah,
best fun, best sweat. No one else will have a clue why you're celebrating when it goes out for a corner, not a throw-on.
and also it's going to cost you if you lose your bet, it's going to cost you about 2 sheets of A4 paper keeping the tally chart.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Going
Yeah. And then
down.
you have to watch it back if you lose by
Yeah,
one to make sure you haven't missed one.
just take a pen down to the pub with you guys and rip the beer mat off. And just get the tally chart going.
Right,
Don't go for a piss the entire game, and you might be all right.
we're definitely going to put this one up then. It's 9-10, under 43 and a half throw-ons in the game of Stan James, okay?
Yeah.
So there we go.
Have you looked at the man of the match market quickly?
I had a brief look. I did.
Is this the man of the match that the the commentator on Sky chooses?
I mean, I hope I wouldn't. Didn't he give man the match to Paulinho the other day in the Tottenham game? He didn't do anything. And Aaron Ramsey's got back-to-back man the matches for Arsenal for no real reason. So it's not a market I'm going to get involved with because I end up shouting at the TV. But if you've got something you fancy, obviously put it up.
No, just Lukaku's 16s. I can just if he just comes on and scores one, I think they'll just give it him. Like I just
You can't, we're definitely not putting up
I'm
guys
not.
off the
No, I'm
bench
not. I'm
man
not
the
putting.
match.
I'm just having a look at a few markets.
Yeah.
It just shows you how tough
I
the
mean,
game is, though, Dave.
I like it if he starts, Rich. I think you should put like a little thing in there. Maybe bet it if he starts, and definitely don't if he doesn't. I
Yeah,
can't. It's very hard to get man of the match off the bench. You have to completely change the game. Obviously, he's capable of doing that. Don't get me wrong.
it shows you just how hard the game is to have any strong bullish opinions when we're both giving up when
Yeah,
when we want to bet throw-ins and corners rather than the actual
yeah.
win game. I
To
mean,
be honest, I probably lean towards Chelsea
me
if I
too,
had
me
to
too.
bet the prices. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Two to
yeah,
one, like 23 to 10. I think that's fair. That is fair.
yeah, yeah. 90, I mean, obviously it's priced about right, but if I had to have a bet on the overall and the outcome of the game, I would probably be laying Man United. That's what I'd probably be doing. They're six. I think they're 2.44 on Betfair. I'd probably lay them. There's maybe a touch of value there, but what about the only other thing I did look at the first goal scorer market? I want to make sure he starts before I put a bet on. Mata.
Yeah, what price?
He's 14. He's bigger on Betfair, and there's not much liquidity, which makes me worry about him starting because generally you can tell who's going to start from the market on there. So I'm not going to 100% have the bet until he's starting. But he had six first goals last year in the Premier League.
Really? Wow.
He had the same as Van Persie. They both had six first goals, which obviously is quite surprising, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
he scored 12 goals, six of them first goals. I mean, I know it's probably a little bit of a coincidence and stuff, but a biggish price. I think it was it'd be 14 and 16. I think he's interesting, especially if we fancy Chelsea, and especially if Torres starts up front. If we're both not super keen on Torres, I mean they've got to score from somewhere.
You know what, Dave? I think if this game was at Stamford Bridge, I think Chelsea would be shorter than Man United are now. I think Chelsea would be 11 to 8 shots.
Yeah, yeah, of course it would. Yeah, no, let Chelsea be short on that, mate. Basically, it's priced up now that Chelsea are basically.
Better than
Yeah,
Man
yeah,
United. Yeah.
of course. That's why they're 244. If that was 2.36, 2.38, it'd be saying they're similar ability. So if Chelsea were at home, they'd probably be the 2.26 region around that mark. I would have
Yeah.
thought. But yeah, we agree with that. We think Chelsea are a better
Yeah,
side,
we do. We
and
do.
there
Yeah.
probably isn't that much in it either. But yeah, you have to see the starting lineups. I bet, yeah, because it matters really weak on Betfair, and there's a few people that have got a bit of liquidity in the market, which makes me think he might not be starting based purely on looking at this.
Chelsea
Which
having a midweek game is not that bothered about that.
not at this
Two
point in the
days
season.
extra. One
It's
day extra
a
than
Monday
Villa.
night anyway. And at this point
2 days
in the
later.
season, that
Yeah.
wouldn't worry me
Yeah,
at
it
all.
wouldn't worry me either.
Yeah, it wasn't the hardest. I mean, they also had a really easy first game, didn't they? They didn't take their foot. They took their foot off the gas in the second half. So yeah, that
Right.
will worry me. So
Right. I think that's about it. Is it,
yeah,
Dave?
yeah, yeah. We've got thousands of
So
bets there.
what bet? I'm just gonna put up neither team to get to 7 corners at evens.
Right, we like that. Okay, well, I'll run through them. We're going to have the under 11 corners at 5 to 6, under 5.5 cards in the game at 11 to 10. Alternatively, you can lay 2 on there being 45 points or more, which means if there's 5 cards, you'd lose on that one, win on the other one. So it depends which way you want to go. Time of the first booking after the 24th minute, 5 to 6, we're putting up. I'm going to put up Ramirez first booking 12 to 1 for a small bet. And we're going to give a mention of Carrick at 30s and Robin at 25s in that market as well. And we're going to go with the under 43.5 throw-ins for the fun bet of the day with Stan James. I think that wraps it up nicely, Richard.
How we gonna find the stats out after the throw-ins? Just gonna record
Oh,
them on a.
to be honest, I've had a tiny bet because I couldn't. It's obviously Stan James. I can't get on. I've asked someone to get me on. And I had a tiny bet, so I probably won't sit there counting. But there must be a way. If we post it on Blonde, someone a lot more vigilant than us will probably count them for us.
Yeah, we're gonna do one that's gonna probably come out Thursday this week for the weekend, and probably stick a bit of the tennis in as well.
Yeah, we're actually going to get a guest on later in the week to talk about the tennis. We're going to let him watch the first couple of days play. We was trying to get him on to discuss before it started, but ended up being too much football and stuff. So we'll have a US Open tennis preview as well in the next one, and hopefully little David will come back from his Mardi Gras by then.
Yeah, hopefully he's had a good time, and we've missed him, and we'll see him soon anyway.
Yeah, cool. Right,
All right,
thanks
guys.
everyone, and
Yeah,
good luck to everyone tonight.
cheers. Hope you enjoyed the game. Bye.
See you in a bit. Bye.